Blog Talk Radio.
Let's not stand on ceremony, mate. Let's start the show.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Here we go. Focus. Something wrong?
Sorry, it's just your stance is, here, chin up, elbows out, feet apart, back, slightly arched. Okay, how's that feel?
Great.
Oh, one more thing.
Barley.
Okay.
Magnora, get you one.
Don't let the magic spook you.
Okay.
Elbows.
What?
Elbows up. No, too high. That's too high.
I'm trying to focus here.
Oh, yeah. Focus on the can. Focus.
Barley, forget it.
It works! The can is huge! And the band is huge! And you're...
Welcome, everybody, to Cinema Royale. I am Travis Hobson of the Punch Drunk Critics. That is John Nolan of the Punch Drunk Critics. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody?
Sounds like you're about to say something about
and then I was like, well, I'll wait till we get into it. I tend to jump the gun on things from time to time.
Like you said, that clip we just heard was from Pixar's latest movie, Onward, which features the voices. You had to have recognized those voices, right? Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. They're pretty distinctive. We'll be talking about that. And also Ben Affleck's new film, The Way Back. I'm really interested to get your thoughts on that one. We'll talk about the box office of both of those movies. This was a really feeble week at the box office. We'll talk a little bit about that because I think a lot of people are going to attribute some of this to the coronavirus. Some are going to say. And honestly, the coronavirus has been impacting everything this week.
Yeah. South by Southwest is screwed.
Yeah, South by is canceled. We'll be talking about all that as well, whether or not it actually does have an impact on these films. But then also some big news that dropped. Christian Bale going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder. I would love to see a Love and Thunder. But no, Thor: Love and Thunder. Which we kind of knew that he was rumored for it a while back, but now we know he's going to be in it, and we have some speculation on his role, so we can talk about that as well. But John, how are you doing this week, my friend?
Well, I'm doing all right. It's not coronavirus, but I'm down with a little something. But I'm here to talk movies and get away from it. What?
As far as you know, it's not coronavirus.
As far as I know,
right.
Yeah. I mean, This whole thing, I know where to get into it, but I'm split on it because part of me, whenever these things happen, I'm always like, everybody's overreacting. There's been the amount of people dead from refrigerators falling on them is much higher than what it is. But the other part of me who watches way too many movies thinks, isn't this how zombie movies always start? Like, am I going to wake up tomorrow? Like, it's like, oh no, there's a virus and everything's not out of order, and then the next morning you wake up and there's zombies all over the place.
Look, I don't want to contribute to some of the fear that's going on around about the coronavirus either, but I've been concerned. But my concern comes from the fact that they keep lying to us about the numbers. That's what I think, and honestly, I think that's the reason why you see so many people kind of freaking out about it, is because they're not being straight up with us about it, and it's like, so you're better off just trusting like the CDC and get stuff from them rather than listening to the bonehead in the White House right now. He keeps coming out.
Yeah, because none of those other CDC doesn't have an election.
He's only worried about his poll numbers. I mean, this is the guy who's.
And then all the news channels are just worried about their ratings. So.
Right. So
yeah, the CDC is the best way to go.
CDC, information like this, or the state governments, because they have no incentive to BS about it either. So trust the state governments, CDC, when it comes to coronavirus. But there's no denying, and this is the way the other way I look at it. If this were just a typical flu, we wouldn't be seeing stuff like this. We wouldn't be seeing cancellations the way we are. We wouldn't be seeing time to die getting pushed back 7 freaking months. This was just a common flu. Something is going on. The rate of spread is pretty phenomenal right now. So we'll see. We'll talk about what kind of impact this is going to have. But let's try to stick with something a little bit happier. That's Onward, which is Pixar's latest movie.
I guess it's happier depending on who you talk to. I mean, the studio is probably not ecstatic.
No, they're not going to be ecstatic over the returns on Onward, which is a shame. Look, I think from the beginning, Onward kind of like mid-tier Pixar. Like there's high-end Pixar, which is like Inside Out and the Toy Story films, like The Incredibles. Like those are high-end Pixar. And then you've got like mid-level Pixar, which is like Cars, and stuff like that. Monsters University, things like that. This is mid-tier Pixar. They're not all at the top of the totem pole. And Onward always kind of looked like that, even in terms of like the animation. When I first sat down to the screening, I was like, this looks like it came from DreamWorks or something. Like the animation was not bad, it's just different. And I think people pick up on stuff like that. And the movie is generally enjoyable. I mean, it's about 2 elves, brothers, who go off on a magical journey to complete a spell that will reunite them with their deceased father for one more day, which is a really sweet premise. I always have a thing about stories about fathers and sons. It's just one of those things with me.
I think we both do. And it's like all the happiest Pixar movies start off with just this happy start, don't they?
Well, the bookends of Pixar movies are the most emotional. Like, if you could just make like a reel of just the opening and closing minutes of Pixar movies, you would cry from beginning to end. Like, it was all you would do. They're all tear. And this one is no different. I just found, and this is like the first Pixar movie that's truly set in a fantastical fantasy world. You've never had a movie like that. You've had talking fish and whatever, talking animals. This is the first time they had one that's in a truly fantasy world. It's basically like our version of society, except, it's elves and centaurs and manticores, and there used to be magic in the world, but people discovered that technology makes things easier, and so magic kind of went away. So these guys are often trying to find if there's any magic left in the world. It's a really great idea that speaks to the way we are obsessed with technology now. But I just found like the journey they were on to not be that creative, to be not as inventive as we expect. It's not as deep or complex of a Pixar movie that I think we kind of have grown to expect from them. And it doesn't mean the movie's bad. It's the curse of being Pixar is that if you have a movie that is simply good, it comes across as disappointing. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, the difference between mid and top level Pixar is always the layers. I mean, you got Toy Story, which is a movie about adventure and friendship and loss and so many things at once. And then you have things like Cars, which is just about finding who you are, or Onward, which is just a fun adventure quest with magic thrown in. But like you said, that doesn't make it a bad movie, and that's the thing that sucks a lot with these movies is they're all enjoyable, but if you're on the '94 Bulls and you're Scottie Pippen, you're not going to be looking like Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? I had a lot of fun with it. I thought Chris Pratt and Tom Holland are uniquely suited for voice acting, and I think that really popped out. You already mentioned once how they're distinct voices, and Tom Holland sounds like an elf, but Chris Pratt really sounds like an animated character anyway, especially when he's doing his Parks and Rec shtick, which he's kind of into in this a little bit. And Pat said the movie's beautiful. I mean, the way they show the magic, the places they go, the things you see, it's all just really nice to look at. So I don't think anybody under the age of 12 is going to be disappointed in the least.
Yeah, Pratt's character is interesting because he plays the lazier of the two brothers, the one who's seen as a disappointment, the slacker. And I was thinking the whole time, if this were 20 years ago and it wasn't a Disney Pixar movie, his van, Guinevere, like as soon as you open the doors, there was like a cloud of green smoke.
Yeah. Oh, exactly, 100%. There was definitely a Scooby-Doo feel about how Shaggy and Scooby feel about him.
Yeah, he would have had a bong hanging from his belt, something like that. That's the kind of character he would have been if it wasn't a Disney movie in 2020.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned something I'm glad you brought up because it's what I was thinking about as soon as I saw the gimmick of magic being gone from the world because technology was easier. And it made me think immediately of like the jokes people make about Harry Potter, where they're like, yeah, you got all this magic and everything like that, but you send an email, it goes right to somebody. You guys got to send owls and things like that. And it was just a funny kind of take on that, I thought, as well.
Yeah, it's totally true too. They live in a world with like zero technology. Like no technology.
Things are harder.
Like technology. Yeah, and things. Yeah, or at least we think they should be harder anyway. But then again, we don't know magic, so maybe it's not. I mean, it's no skin off their back to have to go send an owl. But to us, we look at it.
Right.
What? Do what? Huh?
Yeah.
So I think I'd much rather have magic if I could.
Oh yeah, I mean, for no other reason, I'd rather make it a little bit harder and have something cool happen when I do something than just hit send. But the thing I hope doesn't come to this is
I would just make piles of cash appear everywhere, like if I never needed it. So
yeah, but you wouldn't need the cash because you have magic. You could just Accio whatever you wanted, and there it would be.
That is very.
That's
true.
Even better. And I might.
Yeah, they need to buy stuff all the time there, though. They buy stuff all the time there, though. They have banks and shit, so. They must need money for something.
That's true. Yeah, I guess they can't just steal. You can't use magic to steal. But I'll tell you what I hope doesn't happen. I hope this doesn't put Pixar off of fantasy stories because for the most part, I mean, fantasy tales have been a part of Pixar since the beginning. There's always been a thread of like the old Disney in them, but like a true fantasy story like this, most everything Pixar's done is rooted in reality. I mean. Even something like Monsters, Inc. is rooted in something we have here. And to be transported somewhere that's totally different and totally new, I thought was a nice change for Pixar. I was sitting there trying to think, are there any other Pixar movies that are completely out of reality? And I couldn't think of any.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of any either. It's not on top of my head. So, no, I think you're right. And I agree, kind of spinning off what you just said, Onward debuted this week. Which is $40 million at the box office, which is an all-time low for Pixar in terms of just Friday to Sunday. The Good Dinosaur, the only movie that did worse, they had $39 million Friday to Sunday, but it opened on Wednesday, so it's a little bit different.
Wow.
So yeah, this is not a great start for Onward, and worldwide it only did $68 million, so it only added another $28 million internationally, which many are attributing to the coronavirus. Because, I mean, the major markets are basically shut down everywhere.
Right. Especially internationally.
Yeah, they're not shut down here at all. Not yet. That doesn't mean people decided themselves not to go to the movies because of those fears. But in terms of, like, Japan and China and Italy, places like that, the movie market is just gone. They're on lockdown. I'm surprised they actually made $8 million, if I'm honest. So this is not a good start for Onward, and I don't know what it means going forward for them. I think the bigger ramifications could be elsewhere, like if other studios look at what this movie has done, because Pixar has a pretty good track record, even with their. I mean, this is yet another #1 movie for them, but it's obviously on the lowest end of the spectrum. But if other studios do this and they're like, oh, well, this is the way things are going to perform, then maybe we will decide to move, to hold off our big movies. That's, I think, the bigger ramifications could come there.
Yeah, at least immediately. I mean, that's if Hollywood's anything, they're reactive. So they're definitely going to take this weekend as a it was with something like, if it was a different movie, it wouldn't be so much. Like if it was just The Way Back, they probably wouldn't have taken it as much. But when you have a Pixar movie come out with two of the biggest stars right now, even if the movie wasn't going to be top level Pixar in the first place, they're going to be reactionary on that. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more things change. Even the ones that they've been talking about recently that haven't changed, like excuse me, Black Widow. Obviously staying where it is. Fast and Furious is staying where it is, but I wouldn't be surprised to see those change after this weekend.
Yeah, see, that's my thing. And some of those studios, like I said, have come out and said, no, we're staying. But they with new data, you'd think will come new analysis, like a new decision.
You would think,
I think
yeah.
Next week is going to be very, very interesting. There's a lot of stuff coming out next week. So if it's another down week at the box office, I almost guarantee you we're going to see another major film change. The problem is that moving to the fall has its own difficulties. I mean, if it gets too packed up with blockbusters, basically in the middle of an award season, that's going to be weird. And who knows what kind of impact that's going to have. So.
Yeah, it's not too strange for No Time to Die, because historically Bond movies have always come out in November anyway.
Right.
So that's kind of going back to where it usually is. But if it could change the whole landscape of everything for this year if that's the case.
Yeah. Like if Disney says, "Oh, we're going to move Mulan," which seems like the most obvious film to move.
Right.
Considering its international prospects, and Fast and Furious 9 seems like another obvious twist to move as well. I don't know.
Right.
All right. So I think we both recommend Onward, right? Even though it's not, I think we both agree, not Pixar's best, but still a movie I think it's worth seeing, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing about Pixar and why they're who they are, is that even something that's not their best is still definitely worth seeing, even for adults. I mean, obviously kids are going to love this movie. I think it's right up a child's alley with the magic and the fantasy, but even for adults, it's still going to be enjoyable.
Yeah. All right, let's listen to a clip from the next movie we're going to talk about, which is Ben Affleck's film Way Back.
Look, we're not going to make it all back in one possession. You got to just keep chipping away and chipping away at it. Take it to the rack. Let's go, huh? Let's go, son. All right, up. D up. Go. Get your man. Get up in their faces. Get in their face. Bobby, watch this guy. Watch this trap. Oh, yeah. Time out. Keep pressing. Traffic. Taking charges. Make our lack of size an advantage. Go. Lock up. Offensive. Jack, he's 6 inches shorter than you. How does he make that shot? That's it. Beautiful.
All right, that was a clip from The Way Back. Ben Affleck can make a pretty good basketball coach, I think. He sounded like my old coach.
Yeah, I definitely had some flashbacks watching this movie, and then specifically during that clip, I think I was actually told one time, he's 6 inches shorter than you. How does he make that shot? So,
my coach used to cuss and basically tell us to be men. Stop playing like
you
men.
had the Bobby Knight of coaches.
Yeah, I had that type of coach. The Way Back is a very personal film from Ben Affleck, and I think anybody who's been paying attention to him on the press tours for this film have seen and heard him talk about many of the parallels to his own personal life. The story follows an alcoholic dealing with a tragedy who is called back into action to coach his alma mater's struggling basketball team. And it's basically a sports story / redemption story. Very familiar in terms of premise. It's not anything new. But as I was trying to explain to our fellow Punch-Drunk critic, Portland Jacoby, the things that make movies new are the nuances. And Ben Affleck's personal struggle makes this movie authentic and different than the versions that you've seen in the story. And something else that they do, and this is directed by Gavin O'Connor, who he worked with on The Accountant, and also did Miracle. One of my favorite directors, actually, I love Gavin O'Connor. One of the things they do with this movie is they do try to upend expectations. Like, this movie may be that scene may have been about basketball, but this is not a basketball movie. There's nothing that happens to this team that suggests like a winning basket or winning a big game is going to turn his life around. Like, there's nothing like that. And that's one of those threads that you see repeated over and over again in these sports movies. If you could just win this one thing, like that's gonna change everything. Like, that's never even alluded to. It's always about Affleck's character and the things he's going to have to go through outside of basketball to get right again. I love this particular scene in particular because he talks about you got to keep chipping away. That's kind of how his life is. He's not going to get back to square one overnight. He's going to have to keep working at it. And I think that's one of the things I love about this movie is that it's very different by taking that approach.
Yeah, it really, it encompasses, I guess not strangely enough, I guess it makes sense, but it encompasses a lot of the ideals of like AA, one day at a time, keep at it type feeling like that. And I think, Affleck, it's good to see him here, and the only thing I don't like about, his personal experiences taking so much credit for this role is that it kind of takes away from him the talent he has as an actor. And I think he's, a movie star, no question. There's movie stars and there's great actors. He's a movie star, there's no question about that. But when the guy's focused and when he's on point, he is extremely talented as an actor. And we don't get to see that enough, and he doesn't get to get credit for that enough. But, you'd be lying if you said that his personal life didn't elevate his performance. But, to see him at the top of his game, literally and metaphorically, I guess, in this was nice to see. I haven't seen him play this well since The Town, I would say, and this is even past that.
It's been a while, and like in fact, I even started out my review talking about how he did not seem to care, like in the reasons the last thing he wanted. I think it's been my favorite awful performance of the year so far was him in that movie. When he's not invested in something, it's very obvious. And this is the first time in a while that I felt like he was seriously invested in a film, in a role, and he really brings it. But it's interesting though. Owen Gleiberman, who's I think he's the film critic. I think he's still with EW. Maybe he's been someplace else, but I think he might be EW. Took some heat from a friend of mine, my friend Chris Bumbrave from Joe Blow. He's come on the show all the time. Still interested in it, but he can't kind of have it. He had mentioned Gleiberman's review, and he called out Gleiberman because Gleiberman was basically not celebrating the fact that Affleck's personal difficulties informed this role. He was kind of like, because of his personal demons, that makes the movie more entertaining. And he called him out for that. Basically, it was a really glib sort of review.
Right.
And I agreed with Chris. I was like, I agree. It's pretty disgusting to look at it that way, because I don't look at it that way. And Cleveland got all pissy about it because he's a pissy dude, I guess. But he got all upset. Well, a whole bunch of people started backing Chris up on it. Stephen King chimed in on it, I think today or yesterday. Chimed in on it and said he doesn't agree with Cleveland's review being like that.
It's almost a cheap shot, It's
a cheap shot.
You could. So some of these guys, we, at our site, not as a sales pitch for us, but we've never jumped into the National Enquirer-ness of the film industry. You know what I mean? And a lot of these guys, you can tell the ones that really, are into it for cinema, and the other ones that want to almost kind of tread towards that gossipy line a little bit. And somebody's personal life will go into this, but it is the same way that you wouldn't. I don't know. It didn't seem right to me to put so much onus on it, I guess, because I did read his review the other day when I started seeing headlines about it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the focus of your review. Like, I don't think his personal demons make the movie necessarily better. It might inform his performance. It might inform our perspective of his performance. And he spoke about it himself. I mean, so we have what he said about it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it seems like that's the wrong way to approach these sorts of things. Yeah, we know these people have lives outside the movie, but it's what they do on screen that matters most. And it just seemed like Gleeman sort of missed that. And look, in general, he's a decent reviewer. He's been at it a long time, a lot longer than me or you. But still, I think mostly for me, it was his reaction to people saying to people's criticism of his review. He couldn't take it.
Yeah.
It's like, you should be used to criticism by now. It just seemed like this is what I think.
And literally, all you do is criticize. I mean, that's what our job is. So if you can't take it, don't dish it out. Exactly.
So, unfortunately, The Way Back didn't do great at the box office. But then again, I don't know if anybody really expected it to. It made $8.5 million this week, which has been on the low end. I think they were maybe expecting around 10 or 12. But movies like this are very hard to sell nowadays. These kind of simple human dramas, they don't necessarily do well. If they make $20-30 million, that's probably good. And maybe this will leg it out and make $20-30 million and make its budget back. I don't think it's very big, but it'd be nice.
Netflix. That's what this is Netflix's new realm.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to see a movie like this succeed and do really well, especially for Affleck, because this is the kind of movie that he's been wanting to make. Like, these are the kinds of movies that he does those blockbusters for, right? So he can make movies like this. It's a little disappointing to see it not really do much. So, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a really soft week at the box office in general. Onward $40 million. We talked about The Invisible Man did okay, $14 million, and way back at 8.5. And it's kind of blah from there on. It's just not much going. So
it's not like it was really spread out across everything. I mean, the top 10, almost didn't stay in the millions. I mean, when you have your number 9 and number 10 making just over $1.5 million, it's been a rough week at the box office.
When your number 10 movie is still Jumanji: The Next Level, which I feel like has been out for an eternity, and I think it's out on Blu-ray now, or is about to come out on Blu-ray. So the budget for The Way Back is between $21 and $25 million. So, I mean, there's a chance it could leg it out and make that and break even in terms of that. It might not break even in terms of add marketing budget as well. So I don't know, man. I just want to see these kinds of movies continue to be made. I don't want everything to be blockbusters and franchises, brands. I want movies like this to continue to do well and to not have to all come out at the end of the year when they're looking to be Oscar movies. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like if this had come out in November. If this had come out in November or October, we'd be talking about Affleck as an Oscar contender. And maybe we still will at the end of the year if the movie gets remembered. But it seems like all of these types of movies are getting backloaded now.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a reason for it. I mean, for what you just said, you said maybe there's a chance, but really there's not. If you look back historically not even historically, just the last 10 years, there's always 2 or 3 movies that people are talking about for Oscar and awards in the first quarter of the year that they're never very, very, very rarely talked about at the end of the year. Because it's just the Oscars and the award season is really so much a game of momentum that if you come out that early, there's no chance you're going to have it by then.
And these movies kind of need that award season buzz to bump up their box office.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think Parasite would have made anywhere near what it made if it didn't win an Oscar or even just have the buzz? I mean, that's their bread and butter, really, to stand a chance to make any kind of real money.
Well. Hopefully it won't get this long term. But it does seem like, I don't know if it's the coronavirus or not, but the coronavirus seems to be having some people scared. And this week, we saw South by Southwest get canceled due to concerns over the coronavirus. I guess they're afraid of it becoming like ground zero for an outbreak here.
Right.
Which is it's a legitimate fear. I can't hate on it.
Yeah.
We also saw No Time to Die, the next James Bond movie, moved all the way down to November. 7 months. That's a long time. Another festival that we were going to do some stuff for, CineQuest. They had asked us for a couple of years. Their entire, I think they started maybe this weekend, but starting Monday, they're canceled. Like their whole week of stuff is canceled.
Well,
just insane.
What do you think the South by Southwest insurance thing is going to do to all that, though? Because I mean, yes, people want to do the right thing, but when it comes to money, I don't know if South by Southwest knew ahead of time that their insurance wouldn't cover this, but they just found out that, hey, we canceled and the event insurance we took out is not going to be covered. We're not getting any money back, because coronavirus isn't covered.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. I think it might have just came out this morning, but their insurance isn't covering it. So that's a big, huge loss. Like, will affect next year's South by Southwest. So what does that, do to the other event coordinators that are thinking about doing this? I got to imagine they'll say, no, we'll go ahead and press on.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I was looking ahead. I'm looking ahead further. Like, I'm looking at Tribeca, which is coming up soon. Like, I don't know what they're going to do. Comic-Con is in July. I don't know what Comic-Con's going to do. And our friend Tim Gordon, his festival, Lakefront Film Festival, is at the same weekend as Comic-Con. And I was discussing with him about it. And I was like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I don't know yet. And I was like, it sucks. It's just far enough out of range to not be able to predict what's going to happen. Right? So it's like, it's in July. Like, Comic-Con's in July. So it's like, okay, is this going to still be a major concern come July? Or is it going to be one of those things, or is it going to be one of those things that we've kind of forgotten about by then? Just do normal.
I mean, more likely than not, we'll forget about it by then. But it's like you said, it's impossible to tell. I'm trying to think historically with SARS and avian flu and all that stuff, how long it lasted. But I'd have to look back and research. But I don't think I would imagine by July it should be cleared up. Otherwise, we're gonna have a much bigger problem on our hands, I'd say.
The problem with comparing it to SARS or Ebola or the bird flu is they weren't as communicable. Like they were, they could be more lethal, as far as we know at this point, because we don't know anything about the lethality of this thing yet, not truly. But they were much harder to get, whereas this seems to be pretty easy so far. It seems like it would be pretty easy to get. So I don't know, and it's weird. I don't know, because a thing like Comic-Con, if the studios, because before South by Southwest canceled, a whole bunch of studios canceled first. Like they canceled their Netflix, Apple, they all canceled first. That's pretty much what drove South by Southwest to have to cancel. I mean, all their big guns had gone. They left. So what happens if the same thing happens to something like Comic-Con? Like, what if Disney announces right now, so we're not going to have anything to do with Comic-Con this year because of this? And what if all the other studios say the same thing? Yeah, you'd have like comic book things there, but the TV studios are pretty much are involved with the big studios too. So if they pull out, everything pulls out. I mean, this thing could be chaos.
Well, and here's the most interesting part of that is, the world has changed a lot since Comic-Con first started getting big. How people find out about things, where everybody gets, how many, festivals there are. These studios spend a lot of money. What's that?
We got AwesomeCon coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, so let's say Comic-Con gets canceled, and then these studios that pulled out don't see a big drop in the returns. That could change the landscape of Comic-Con going forward, because they're not going to be as willing to spend the ridiculous amounts of money if they don't think they need to get the word out there on their stuff. This could be the thing that kind of pulls the wool off the eyes and lets them see that, hey, maybe we don't need to have a presence at Comic-Con to have our movie succeed.
Some of them already think that.
Yeah. So,
well,
not to be Chicken Little, but this could be the death of Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think Comic-Con. But
yeah, they're going to be fine.
It might evolve, but it'll work. But I mean, South by Southwest, Austin is losing about like $300 million of revenue, something insane.
Oh yeah.
Imagine how much San Diego would lose in Austin.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge economic impact for the local area itself. I mean, and past everything else.
Yeah, crazy. Before we move on and start talking about a couple of news things, I want to encourage everybody to go check out punchfrontcritics.com. John has been working feverishly over on the website the last week or so. He's got a new look. I think it looks pretty great myself. Some new features. Good job, John. Looks good, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, when you guys go there, make sure you comment on posts. We want to hear from you guys. Want to get you guys interactive with us to let us know when we suck. Also, when we're good.
As soon as you stop fucking around and tinkering with it, I can get used to it. But
I stopped. I haven't touched anything in 24 hours. Well, 18 hours. 18 hours.
No, it looks good, man. Which reminds me, I need to reply back to your last thing that you wrote too. The trending now bar.
Not so much.
I don't know if it's necessary. But we can talk about it. We can talk about it. If you like it, it's fine. I don't care.
It's just something to throw in.
I barely notice it. Maybe that's why. I have to specifically look at it, and then like, oh yeah, there it is. Otherwise,
right.
Whatever. Anyway, let's talk about a couple of things that happened news-wise this week, and I think there's been a couple of big things, but the main thing for me is Christian Bale joining Thor: Love and Thunder. I when the rumor came up a few weeks ago, it was speculated that he might be a villain, but Tessa Thompson confirmed it in an interview with I think it was UT that he's going to be playing the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder. Now I don't know who that villain is going to be. Nobody knows. And I don't know who I want him to be. But I know I would be very happy if you were Beta Ray Bill. If you were Beta Ray Bill, I'd be happy.
Full on CG horse, Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah. I mean, if that were the case, though, the only thing that would suck about that is if you were Beta Ray Bill, you'd probably be a CGI, and we would see Christian Bale. I want to see Christian Bale, right?
Right.
Like, I don't want to just hear him. I don't want to just hear his voice. Say we hear Vin Diesel doing it. I want to see Christian Bale. So maybe that might not be the best idea. So maybe I think it maybe make him like Thunderstrike or something. I'd be very, very happy. Very happy.
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
I'm just excited that he's back in this world. I honestly didn't think that he'd ever make his way back to comic book movies, and I'm interested. The main reason I'm interested to see what the deal is to see what it was that would have brought him back. I mean, assuming it wasn't just a huge pay offer, but if we're being completely honest, Christian Bale's obviously a big newsmaker still, but he's so many years away from Batman that just getting him in there isn't something that they're just gonna be like, hey, here's $30 million, come play with us for a little while. So it must have been something about the role that he liked to make him take it. So I'm really interested to see what that was.
Yeah, I would. The geek in me wants to see Christian Bale team up with Kate Blanchett, because I even though she wasn't in the movie long, her character wasn't great. I still like Kate Blanchett. I'd love to see her and Christian Bale teaming up as bad guys.
Right.
Like if I'm gonna have Christian Bale in this, I want him to be over the top Christian Bale, just like Kate Blanchett was over the top in Thor Ragnarok. I'd love to see them.
I want to see the Christian Bale that we got the behind scenes footage of when he was yelling at that guy that was talking during the scene. I want to see that Christian Bale. Angry, yelling. I want to see an Al Pacino meets Christian Bale type situation.
Yes, I would be down for that. I would totally agree. So that's pretty cool. This movie's shaping up to be pretty good already. Obviously, Chris Hemsworth is back. I was talking to who else? I was in Portland again. I was talking about how Chris Hemsworth can play Thor forever if they let him. Like he's not like Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr. who've been like openly pining to get away and do other stuff. There's no pining by Chris Hemsworth to do other things, right? Like he'll just sit here.
Just truly enjoy the role.
Not only does he enjoy the role, but nobody wants to pay to see him in anything else. So.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But I mean,
nobody's paying to see him in anything. Like they paid to see him in Snow White and the Huntsman, but that was probably more about Kristen Stewart doing Snow White than it was ever about Chris Hemsworth. Nobody wants to pay for him. They'll pay to.
I don't understand why. I mean, the guy, he's a good actor. He's funny. I mean, yeah, he's just really good all around, and I don't understand why he hasn't had success. I gotta imagine it's the projects he's taking on, but if that means we get more of him as Thor, and he gets to, I mean, if you just think about how the character has morphed since he came in originally, and we get to see that continue to change into something totally new again, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. So Kirsten Hemsworth is back. Natalie Portman is returning to the MCU as Jane Foster. Only now she is Thor. She's going to have the powers of Thor. People need to stop calling her the female Thor. She's just Thor.
Right.
So she's going to have the powers of Thor. It's going to be interesting how they're going to pull that off. How they're going to do that. I can't believe they'll follow the comics, but we'll see. Tessa Thompson's back as Valkyrie. So yeah, Taika Waititi's returning to Earth again. So should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't see how this is going to be disappointing at all. I mean, there's no way this movie isn't awesome. So I'm all on.
What do you think about this Beauty and the Beast prequel thing? I find this interesting.
I love it just because they take the one thing that stupid people got upset about and made a whole series about it, and that's awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, assuming it's going to be, because if it's about LeFleur and I keep want to say Bastion, but that's not right. Mm-hmm. What the hell is his name? Why am I blanking on that?
Gaston,
not Baston. I'm thinking Bastion from the Neverending Story, I think. But if it's about Gaston and LeFleur, I think that's awesome because I as long as they keep it as kind of like a slightly undercover love story that they never really fully admit to, then I'm all about it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to go, but there's almost a 0% chance I'll watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't. I guess I'm just kind of done with Disney, not remakes, just anything.
I'm still good with them. It's just I don't really have any interest in LeFleur or Gaston. I mean that was easily like the least compelling part of the Beauty and the Beast cartoon and the movie for me. So, but I'm sure it'll do well.
It's like doing a spin-off series on like the silverware, like the talking silverware.
That would be interesting, actually. Or even just a spin-off series about when the curse was first enacted. Like the end of the series is the curse happening, and it's just about how the Beast was such a dick, and how the staff had to deal with them, and then they got cursed too.
I want to watch a series that is about their how daily life is for the silverware in his castle. I mean, you really want to watch that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it would be like Downton Abbey, but with silverware.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what it would be like. I don't want to watch that. I don't know. Last thing for me that I have some interest in is this monster movie that James Wan is doing for Universal. Universal's really, since The Invisible Man, actually before that, they've been trying to put these things together, like Renfield and Paul Feig's doing Dark Army, Elizabeth Banks as the Invisible Woman. They got hope. They're still trying to do Bride of Frankenstein. They're trying to make these monster movies happen, just not under the Dark Universe umbrella. But I think The Invisible Man has really set them off. And now they got James Wan to do a monster movie that sounds a lot like Frankenstein. Here's the description goes like this: with shades of Disturbia, the story will focus on a group of teens who discover that a neighbor is building a monster in his basement. Spoiler: the monster gets loose. That sounds like Frankenstein. It's written by your boy.
Yeah.
It's written by Robbie Thompson, who wrote Supernatural, that awful show that was on CW for way too many years.
Awful
because
shows
I think they probably just forgot that it was still on, and they just kept it there, and then you realize that it was there. It's
the flagship of a network for 15 years. Come on.
Probably what happened. They just kind of kept overlooking that time slot.
You know, you're ruining your bona fides as a critic right now by saying these things.
Anyway, so this totally sounds like a Frankenstein movie, which Blumhouse, Jason Blum, was just saying in the last few days, he really was doing a Frankenstein movie. Unless he teams up with James Wan, all of a sudden it sounds like he's going to get his chance. But I'm excited because James Wan is pretty much untouchable at this point. Like, I don't know if there's anything he's done. I don't think first of all, I don't think he's made a bad movie yet. I mean, the Saw movies, they're not great. They're not awful, especially the ones he did.
No.
And there hasn't been anything that he's failed at. Like, even when he ventured out to do a Fast and Furious movie that joint made $1 billion, and it was a pretty good movie. Obviously, Aquaman.
And he's done all different kinds of movies, is the thing. I mean, from Aquaman to Fast and Furious to...
And all different kinds of horror. Like, he hasn't stuck to just one kind of horror. Saw is different from Insidious as that is from Conjuring. They're all different. So the guy can do pretty much anything he wants. There's no reason to think he can't reinvent Frankenstein for modern day and make that joint pretty great.
Yeah. Now, is this going to be with? I mean, if Jason Blum wants to make a Frankenstein movie and James Wan is doing it, why are they not making this movie with Blumhouse? Because after Invisible Man, if I was Universal, I'd say, hey, you have first take at all of our Universal monsters because you obviously know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I don't know why they're not working together. But I'm sure you have the reasons. It's not as if Wan doesn't have his own production company.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a connected universe. It can just be from the same studio. But that studio has proven time and again that they know exactly how to make things that are no longer interesting again. I mean, every type of movie they make is something that has been given up on, and they bring it back, and they find the right way to do it, and they find the right heartbeat for it, and it's a success.
Yeah, but they also do things. I mean, they probably just they maybe just do things their own different ways. I mean, I don't know, but it's not as if Blumhouse is going to be, short on things to do. Right? I mean, they're going to be fine.
They're not hurting. I just think if somebody's going to take care of these guys, of these characters, it should be them. But obviously, if James Wan's involved, then I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I mean, they both make low-budget horrors. It seems like they would work together. But I mean, maybe they don't feel they don't need to, and because Wan's former collaborator Lee Wanell, he's signed with Blumhouse for a while now, I think, and he's got at least some sort of exclusivity with them now. So who knows? I mean, Lee Wanell involved with Blumhouse, producing Blumhouse, in some sort of a horror movie. Maybe Universal will let them take over Bride of Frankenstein that they've been trying to do forever. Who knows? Who knows how that'll work out? But James Wan is the man right now, so if he's making a Frankenstein movie, I want to see it. I mean, certainly it's got to be better than that Victor Frankenstein from a few years ago. James McAvoy.
Yeah, that's why they got James McAvoy in on.
James Radcliffe.
Frankenstein hasn't had anything good in the last 20 years, Frankenstein, unless I'm missing something, has only been in Victor Frankenstein and Van Helsing, and I can't think of anything else that he's been in. So,
he's been in the Hotel Transylvania movies.
Oh well, yeah, I guess we're counting that. But I mean, something real. I mean, but it's and he is the most layered of all the Universal monsters. So and that's if you're gonna make a quality movie, he's the one you're gonna make it with.
Yeah. Right. And then again, well, I mean, there's Creatures of Black Lagoon still, of course. And,
who we've never seen.
Wolfman, we haven't seen in a while. And somebody still needs to do a really good Dracula movie. I mean, somebody still needs to do a really good one that hits. So.
Yeah, I don't know that he can. I think he needs more time to gestate. I mean, it's just been so many different ones in the past. Even in the past 15 years, there's been so many different ones. He just needs time to, I mean, if someone comes up with a truly original idea, cool. But, I think he needs to take a break for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, don't they have a series on Netflix? Was it Lucifer, or maybe there was a Dracula show?
Yeah, it's from the guys that did Sherlock. There's a show on Netflix that I was able to watch for about 10 minutes before I turned it off. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should have given it more time, but it was bad.
Really?
Yeah, I was not a fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch this. So I have no idea. You could be right. Maybe Dracula needs to sit and rest for a while. So yeah, I mean, my most recent exposure to vampires was the Underworld movies. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's hard to even tell. I mean, zombies are obviously the most overdone monster in the last 20 years, but Dracula's not. Vampires, as you say, are not close behind them, especially when you factor in like Twilight vampires and stuff like that. I mean, that wasn't too long ago.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, we're coming down to the wire on the end of the show already, man. You got any closing thoughts?
I don't really. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to Bloodshot. I don't know why. That's the the Vin Diesel film that's coming out this next weekend that we'll be talking about next week, and I don't know why, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Next week is insanely packed. Not only do we have Bloodshot, but we have The Hunt comes out next week. The long anticipated The Hunt finally arrives. And My Spy with Dave Bautista. So just 3 things alone makes for a pretty packed week. A couple other movies that are coming out this week that unfortunately need to review. I was pulling what little hair I have out looking at the list for next week. It's like of reviews I do. It's like the Burnt Orange Heresy, which I don't even know if I'll get around to watching it, but I'm going to try. My Spy, Bloodshot, First Cow, to the interviews with Clay Reichardt for, and I will post to Cinema Royale very soon. And The Hunt. It was like 5 reviews. And I was like, that's just gross. I don't think I'll get that many reviews ever.
So much to do, so little time.
Not happy about it, friend. That's it, and we'll come back next week, and we're definitely going to talk about Bloodshot and The Hunt, and maybe we'll talk about My Spy too, because I mean, it's Dave Bautista. We kind of got to talk about the Dave Bautista movie, right?
Yeah, everybody's got to love the guy. I mean, we definitely got to talk about that.
We're fans of his, right? We're fans of Dave Bautista.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And this looks like this is like the pacifier.
I can't wait for Army of the Dead coming out this summer on Netflix. Zack Snyder's. I was just downing zombies, but I'm also looking forward to the zombie TV show with Bautista in it. So
as long as there's not like a big sign in the middle of the movie that says # release the Snyder cut.
Well, that's what the whole premise is, right? Like people got so mad about not releasing the Snyder cut that they started a zombie apocalypse, is what I heard.
If they are Snyder cut zombies, then that could be
yeah, there we go. There's the twist we were all looking for.
I'd be interested in that, because there are some Snyder cut zombies out there. I saw a bunch of them at Comic-Con last summer.
Yeah. And I'm sure they'll be there this year, too, because that seems to only be gaining traction for some reason.
If there are zombies at Comic-Con this year, they'll be from the coronavirus. So
that's a dark place to end the show on.
I hope there are no zombies there.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh, man. Anyway, this has been Cinema Royale. Thank you guys for listening. Check us out every day at punchdrunkcritics.com. You can find me on Twitter at punchycritic, and you're still at punchdrunkjohn, right?
I am. There's spiderwebs in my Twitter account, but it's there.
I was going to say, have you ever tweeted? I don't think I've ever seen a tweet.
I have. I'm so bad at it, man. I'm so bad at it. I need to connect all my social media together, because I'll do Instagram for a week, and then Facebook for a week, and then maybe Twitter for a day. And
I mean, it's
a lot of work.
We're running a website here, and if you're not contributing to the social media, then
I am, just not all of the accounts. I need to connect them is what I need to do.
All right, man. It's been so good talking to you. We'll catch up again soon, my friend.
All right, you guys. Talk to you next week.
Later, guys. Thank you for listening.